Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Man's Tuesday night Chaos 120 live stream.
Bah!
And of course, as always, we've got the lovely Terra Synn who jumps the gun there. We've also got the next 6 minutes tonight.
Hello.
And we've got Scooby 331.
Hey, hey.
Of course, Irate Prostate's going to be joining us in about 10-15 minutes. He's running a little late. And Burnsides should be joining us as well once he gets to work.
Speaking of the devil.
Yep. There is the devil contacting some people, so.
That is the scariest ringtone I think I've ever heard, Terra. Can you imagine getting like one of those calls at 2 in the morning with that thing?
Oh, gosh.
Well, so the question becomes, how is everyone doing today? And unfortunately, I am not very well read up on the news yet because I just spent the past 5 days partying like it was $16.99 and
Nice.
spent today in recovery from all that.
Ooh. You're getting your fluids back, I take it.
Getting some fluids in me, getting some electrolytes in me, trying to unpack the truck. Because, of course, I had to pack everything into the truck, drive to the location, set up. We had our fun, tore down, packed everything back into the truck, drove back.
Well,
and of course,
you're a little short on news. We do have chaos news. I will be reading a little later here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll definitely eat us some time. I do have one news story though that I did want to talk about.
Real quick, Burnside will be in about half an hour or so. Apparently, his other show is doing like a special interviewing someone, so he's going to jump in there for like 30 minutes, and then he'll come over here.
Okay. Well, we can definitely look forward to seeing him then when he shows up. So the big one that I wanted to share with everyone tonight was something that actually surprised the bejesus out of me.
Did it?
And I'm going to share the news article through a screen share here while we talk about it.
Oh, do tell.
So here it is. And this news article is probably the most surprising news article I have seen in a long time out of the Ninth Circus of the federal courts. And that is they have ruled that open carrying of a firearm in public is constitutional.
Is that all 50 they ruled it?
Well, this is the Ninth Circuit. So that includes Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, and Arizona.
Fuck, not New York, but good for everyone else.
If I had a beer, I'd crack it open right now.
Well, see, now here's the thing. The Ninth Circuit is based in San Francisco. So I am trying to figure out how in the hell this happened. Because these are the same nutbags that ruled that it was legal to legalize pot regardless of what the federal government decided. And then immediately was overturned by the federal government.
Maybe they want to arm themselves because they think that the war that they're trying to start is finally coming.
But the thing is all their people are afraid of guns.
Maybe they're going to hand out peyote buttons with them too. Who knows?
But this particular announcement surprised me.
I think this may actually confirm that voodoo is in fact real. I think there's a lot of little man-shaped pincushions somewhere that somebody was sticking with sewing needles and shit to get this one to pass. This is quite surreal. This is like a Salvador Dali painting, just kind of.
It really is. So the rule, and this is the 3-judge panel that ruled this way, mind you. This is the same judge panel that ruled that all 3 attempts by President Trump to stop migrations from certain countries because they were disruptive and in the middle of civil wars was a ban on a religious prescription. This is the same 3-judge panel. they ruled that Hawaii's rebuttal claim that the Second Amendment protections only applied to carrying a gun openly in one's home was wrong. Because Hawaii had a ban on open carry.
Wow.
And it has been successfully shot down by the Ninth
Wow.
Circuit.
Blind Squirrel has found a big nut.
He really has.
And it is raping it.
And I mean, I am absolutely stunned by this decision. I mean, so here's we do not take lightly the problem of gun violence, but for better or worse, the Second Amendment does protect the right to carry a firearm in public for self-defense. So this right now might challenge the California determinants that they have the right to refuse concealed carry permits to people who do not have a valid reason to carry, quote unquote, in the state of California.
I think that I think there's going to be a lot of women in California that are going to make it to Christmas instead of having to rely on a sheet of paper that says they're crazy significant other. I put in huge air quotations.
Yeah, I hate to be the one to piss on everyone's parade, but I just had a thought. What if California decides to extend this to non-citizens?
Well, here's the deal. Technically, if you can own a firearm, which anyone in the United States who is within the borders can own one, the act of purchasing one is different. So you can own a firearm, but you can't go buy one if you're not a citizen or a legal resident alien. So
an establishment, but what about from a secondhand sale?
Well, see, technically, even a secondhand sale, you're supposed to be a citizen or legal resident alien. In fact, the owner doesn't necessarily have to put you through a background check, but they are still supposed to check your paperwork. Now, this is also the same set of courts. This is also the same set of judges that upheld the ruling which blocked California's high-capacity magazine ban.
They blocked it or upheld it?
They blocked it.
I would say we'll observe this ruling with guarded optimism.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the word guarded.
Well, I have seen some bizarre dissenting rulings out of the Ninth Circuit from time to time, and it always surprises me when we get one. However, this one, I think they were in the right, and I'm hoping it continues to be held this way. The fact that the Ninth Circuit is quite possibly the most actively progressive activist court in the United States, and they still upheld the constitutionality of open carry, gives me a little respite on concerns about gun rights being taken away. But
it is an election year. This could just be a bone.
This could be a bone. That's what I was about to come up to. This is an election year, and California is seriously looking like it's going to swing red this year.
Oh, shit.
California was red up until the 1960s.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just, I mean, they went to such lengths to overthrow the government there and to subvert it. I mean, for them to finally lose their grip. You know, it's one of those things. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I'm getting my hopes up.
I agree with you, Scoob. It's definitely a situation where you don't want to get your hopes up. Just because the Ninth Circuit upheld constitutionally open carrying doesn't mean that they won't turn right around and then, also uphold some sort of crazy law which requires you to store your guns separated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, as it stands, there's no telling what's going to happen. So what do you think on this, Terra? Terra?
Yeah, I'm here. I've never understood the ban on open carry anyway. I've lived in a state where, you know, it's always been legal to open carry. So, you know, for me, you know, going to another state and they're like, you can't carry that, you know, we're going to arrest you now. It's just like, the fuck? Constitution says I can.
Hey, Kaz, did you hear the great news? Kaz, you there?
Hello. Sorry, had to load in for a bit.
So, did you see the news that we were just talking about?
Nah, what?
The Ninth Circus, that crazy court down there in San Francisco by you, upheld open carry as constitutional.
Open carries.
Where you carry your gun openly in public on your hip or across your back.
Oh,
They shot down the Hawaii law that was stating that you could only open carry on your own private property.
Cool.
Oh, geez. They're actually doing something somewhat sensible for once, I guess.
There you go. Now you got to go get yourself a piece.
Well, I'm sure Kaz can testify to just how crazy the Ninth Circuit is. I mean, he lives in the same state as those crazies.
Yeah.
I mean, Hey, Irate, how you doing?
Buenos. How's everybody doing tonight?
Chilling.
Well, we were kind of just celebrating the fact that the Ninth Circuit ruled that open carry is constitutional and can't be blocked, even in public locations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, if only the cops stopped pulling the fucking Stonewall tactic every time you try to get a permit.
Well, see, that's what I was talking about. Because the Ninth Circuit declared it a constitutional right to carry a gun for self-defense, the cops aren't going to necessarily be able to keep up this BS that self-defense isn't a valid reason for a concealed carry permit, even in California.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would be directly contradictive of that ruling.
Well, everything about California tries so hard to contradict the Constitution, so that's no surprise to me.
Well, but that means that Ninth Circuit ruling can be used to subvert that decision that was created by the California courts. It could also be used to subvert the decision that California doesn't accept reciprocity from any other state in the country for concealed carry.
Yeah.
Because that kind of ruling brings it back to a constitutional issue and the idea of national reciprocity or a national constitutional carry.
I don't know. It must be something in New York. Our cops actually will go out of their way to tell you what is illegal in the state, what you can carry and what you can't, what you can buy and what you can't, that sort of a thing. They're actually really cool about it.
Well, no, most states' cops will, except California and a few other places. I mean, you know, I've talked with plenty of police officers here in Oregon. The other day, I had to interact with a cop while I was concealed carrying. And, you know, when he approached, I had my hands in plain sight. I knew he was coming, so I already had my wallet in plain sight because I did have my piece on me and I wasn't going to reach for my wallet. When he could think I'm concealed carrying, and I know I am. Once I showed him who I was, he's like, why do you have your hands like that? And I'm like, well, because I'm concealed carrying and I don't want to make you nervous. And he looked at me and he's like, okay, man, put your wallet away. You're good. And then he asked me what I was carrying, you know. I mean, and we started talking. It really depends on the state, but I do know in California they have very stringent laws, and the county sheriffs can determine whether or not you have a legitimate reason to get a concealed carry permit.
Yeah, that's why I referenced the Stonewall tactic. That's been talked about in by a lot of people before, is that if they believe you're a political dissident and they don't like you for whatever reason, they'll try to prevent you from getting your permit. So you had to have these interviews with trusted people within the police to be able to actually be recommended to have a permit, to give it okay. And sometimes they would literally go out of their way to make lies about, okay, you're the 18th person on this list. It'll take a couple months for us to get there to you. Then you go into this couple months, you try talking to them again, and like, oh, well, we have 17 people over you now, so wait for a year to get a permit, and the process keeps happening. California's known for that type of shit.
Yeah, especially in the big liberal counties like Orange and LA.
Oh yeah.
If well, they kind of, we even went further than you over here, but the thing is this: the police actually hate Governor Cuomo because he took all of your laws and decided, you know, like it was he was playing poker. Like, I'll see your insane laws and I'll raise you even crazier shit, you know. But he did it all at like 2 o'clock in the morning when no one was around to vote on it. He did some sneaky fly-by-night shit. That's what Cuomo does. Yeah. And the cops actually rallied up over in Albany, and so like nowadays, like, you can actually see a cop, you know, like, and you can go roll up on them and, excuse me, officer. I was thinking of going down to the shop, you know, like, and getting a gun. I got to go and apply for my permit at, you know, out at the, like, if you're in Suffolk, it's out at Yaphank. If you're in Nassau, it's Oyster Bay. I think Queens, though, unfortunately, once you get into Queens, you got to go right to central booking. But, there's different places you got to go. So, I'm going out to, let's say, if you like, again, Suffolk, I'm going out to Yaphank to fill out the paperwork and, you know, apply for the permit. What's legal and what's not? And they'll tell you, okay, because believe it or not, certain handguns are illegal in Manhattan, in New York, because their natural capacity. Like, if the gun just naturally, like, because now they have that stupid 7-shot rule, certain Glocks are illegal now.
Yeah, and see, that's one of the things I'm thinking that this might actually help overturn is some of that restriction to that.
Yeah. Yes.
That'd be great.
Because if you have the right to carry a firearm for self-defense, who's to say you don't need 13 rounds for self-defense instead of 6?
Just to give you how an idea how ridiculous it is, because I had a discussion with a friend of mine, because, you know, he obviously doesn't live in Cal, never been in Cal, so he doesn't really know, but he says he knows people who does. And he always asked him, why do you prefer to literally buy it from some black market van? And the answer is always pretty simple. Because of the ridiculous amount of restrictions and how they try to rack up the prices on guns and shit here in Cal, and how they really want to make it hard for you to buy it legally, a lot of people actually literally go out of their way to buy it illegally because they rather have that, which is cheaper and more easier to attain than to worry about getting some kind of license. And that's the reason why we have so much such a demand for illegal firearms here.
Well, not just that. I mean, isn't it your state? Doesn't California also, they don't have castle doctrine?
No, they don't. Like almost any amount of self-defense can easily be prosecuted, and you'll probably be thrown in prison.
Yeah, it's another reason you need a ghost.
Like, technically you could defend yourself, but the courts are so fucking butthurt about the idea of you defending yourself, they'll find every little thing to throw you in prison for.
Yeah. Like, the cops over here by me, like, one of the things that they told me on the sly is, you know, look, do yourself a favor, always keep a brand new box cutter in a package. If the attacker comes in, rip your wife's nightgown, make sure you get a small cut from her, get the blood on the blade, and put it in his hand. He attacked your wife, you had to kill him. This is what the cops told me on the sly. Because they know how the courts work. But if he was attacking your wife, that's the first thing they'll tell you. That usually they're going to rule in your favor automatically. It's one of the weird laws we have here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, then again, man, New York used to have a trial by combat law, so it's not that surprising that they got some weird ones like that.
I would like them to bring back the trial by combat law, to be honest. That'd be some
Yeah, I know you would, but a lot of people would be apprehensive about it, man.
Seriously, bro. I mean, think about it. Like a single-shot pistol, 2 guys get into an argument. You know what? Fuck you. I'm going to meet you at the park on Sunday. Let's get it on. Seriously. I would have no problem sitting there, you know, like reading a paper, and all of a sudden 2 guys walk up to each other. One of them 86s the other. That wouldn't bother me in the least. You know? I think it would solve a lot of problems that we have around here domestically.
Well, to be fair, man, the way it actually works is that kind of stuff, it's a huge ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else actually loads the pistols for both of you, you know.
I'd go with the melee weapon. Fuck it.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Two
myself.
baseball bats.
That gets brutal.
Let's go. God damn it. Exactly.
See,
Oh,
Well,
Irate,
you
that
know,
gets-
the population of
kinda
New York
brutal.
would go down dramatically.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even gonna front. I've been taking Kenjutsu since like the 80s. I am so down to duel with somebody.
Yeah, see, I'm not so much, man, because like this weekend for the pirate event, I had to defend a ship that I was staying on. Some guy thought he was gonna raid the ships to try to get his position within the community recognized. So he decided he was going to raid my friend's ship, and I was standing there. Well, I had my simulator weapons with me, which includes a fake beer mug, which I use as an offhand parrying device, and my boarding axe mock-up. So he comes walking up the gangway. I deflect his sword with my beer mug and throw my axe right into his chest.
Wow.
Told him to get the heck off the ship. Ended his aspirations real quick. So, you know, I don't know about melee combat, man. That can get pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, no.
That's why they call guns a great equalizer. It just takes away that effect of the melee, the messiness of melee combat.
It does.
Really sticks with it.
But the problem then becomes, you know, anybody can carry a gun and anybody can pull a trigger.
Yeah.
So then you become far more polite.
I guess it's because, you know, I grew up, you know, when I was a kid, I got into so many fist fights, you know, going to and from school. You had no choice. It was either you had to run or you get your ass beat. The problem was I was a fat kid, so I couldn't run. And I used to get into fights going to school and coming from school every day, so I just got used to it. By the time I was a teenager, you know, that's when you go somewhere and people show up and they got like lead pipes and people get out with like chains and shit. Some people got blades. And you get into a rumble, and it would happen. So I don't know. I guess I just figured because I grew up like that, and they curtailed everything because, you know, all these liberals started moving here. They started bringing their soy boy little larva with them. And the problem is all the native folks here, the ones who have been here for like 2-3 generations, you know, they go out to the bar, and they beat the bejesus out of these soy boys, and then they wind up catching like 3 years on an assault charge. My thing is this. I'd rather see it where, you know, like, fuck it. Let them just go into the park and wing ding it out. Like, you know, seriously, like, have it where people can sign a piece of paper, consent forms, like, just to let them fist fight. You can't even get into a fist fight nowadays, consensual. Like, I've gotten into a few brawls over the years where the cops show up and me and the other guy, like, start arguing in each other's defense. Like, to the cop, like, no, we're doing this, we agreed. You know, we agreed to come out here and do this.
Yeah, man.
No, you guys can't do it.
I know what you mean on that. I mean, it used to be called settling it traditional. You know, you go outside, you throw a couple of punches. Somebody would end up on the ground with their face bloodied, and then you go inside, sit down, and have a beer and talk over your differences.
Yeah.
Can't do that no more in the cities, man. They don't accept that kind of civilized behavior.
Fucking candy-ass pansies. The whole lot of them.
Yep, they've gotten too soft, man.
Yeah, you can't do something like that. Meanwhile, I can watch that fucking bloated can of Spam fucking Schumer up there talking about how she smells like hot garbage for 2 hours.
My pussy smells like farm animals. You gotta respect that. The power of feminism, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it sounds like to me, Kaz.
That's the height of civility.
Yeah, that is the height of the new civility, man.
Yeah, you and me rolling up our sleeves, you know, in some old school pugilism. Nah, there's nothing civil about that. But it only helps shape Western civilization the past 800 years. So what the fuck do I know?
Well, obviously we're relics of the situation. Now, I do want to mention that in our chat, Joseph Rash just mentioned that the PDX police have finally started removing the occupying protesters from the ICE building and surrounding parking lots.
Oh, wow.
Did they utilize pitchforks?
No, they did not. They probably are utilizing mace, batons, and handcuffs. I'll have to see if I can get some footage.
Did the protesters utilize any bike locks? Did everyone like run in fear over the proposition that get kicked tonight?
I'm pretty sure the opposition used poo, bottles of urine, and probably pepper spray, which is what they're known for using.
You know,
Here, have a taste of communism, guy. It's a fucking plate of shit because I got no food.
When I went to Woodstock '99, it was when I was at the height of my weightlifting. I weighed about I want to say about maybe 275, maybe a little between 275 and 285, somewhere I was hovering around there. And you guys know my height. I'm about 6'2". I'm a pretty fairly big guy.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, well, this cop was maybe about 5'8", and I want to say $170. So I had about 100 pounds on him, and I got at least 6 inches of height on him. And he had one of those shields and batons. And he planted his feet, and he whomped me with that friggin' shield, and I went sailing back at least 3 feet.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, easily. And then he
those
started,
riot shields are great.
Yeah, well, you don't realize it because of the concave design of it. When it hits you, it's basically like the equivalent of if you like take a 3-liter bottle and you like hit a puppy with it and send a puppy sailing. It's the same.
It's a slingshot effect.
Yeah, yeah. And the cop kept hitting me with the thing, and I finally was able to get my footing, and I put my shoulder, and he hit me with it in my shoulder, and oh my God, I didn't move at that point, but the shock. I mean, my whole body went numb after that. And when he seen I didn't move, that's when he racked me with that friggin' baton. Holy shit. He had to hit me maybe 2-3 times. He came in with the third shot. I grabbed the baton and used my weight, like judo style, and pulled him into the crowd and ran past him through the other cops and ran like hell. So, seriously, I'm just thinking about those. The reason I bring it up is, can you imagine those soy boys who are like 5'4" and $120?
Oh,
yeah.
Soaking wet.
Yeah, because like I said, I was at my height. I was at Woodstock '99, not more cut than him, but I was larger than Dwayne Johnson. This is when I used to weightlift, and so someone that size getting thrown by a cop half his size. Can you imagine now if these cops are like decent sized cops? These soy boys are probably going to go sailing across the street like it's free.
Well, Scoob, I hate to tell you, but the Portland Police Department, their riot squad.
Mm-hmm.
Is 60% female.
Holy shit.
Oh, that don't mean nothing. I got 5 old assistants. That's Wrath of God shit right there, those little bitches.
Average height about 5'4", 5'5".
Yeah, they'll pop you in the balls. They won't,
Yeah, they're probably all hellions.
Yep. Get a nightstick and just pop you right in the nuts, man.
Now, these are the same women that took down the Gypsy Jokers, though.
Crazy bitches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like when in our neighborhood, the female cops when they get pulled, you got to see everyone immediately. Like their attitude changes because the male cops will come, and they'll get out. Okay, what's the trouble? The female cops come. The first thing they do is out come the batons. Like they don't mess around.
Oh yeah.
We got one cop on the force for years. Her nickname everyone knows, and they call her Robo Bitch.
Well, do you know who the Gypsy Jokers are?
Is that a bike club?
They are part of the 1%ers of the bike motorcycle community.
Right.
About 2 years ago, 60 members of them were arrested in Portland on charges including production of crack, heroin smuggling, human trafficking, weapons smuggling, witness tampering, murder for hire, kidnapping for hire.
Was it a RICO thing, man? This sounds really organized then.
Oh, they're severely organized, man. They run the West Coast. They are kind of what the concept the Sons of Anarchy were written on.
Okay.
Because they compete with the Hells Angels, but they never went legit. So the Gypsy Jokers are still 1%ers, even to this day. They're pretty bad hombres. I mean, you stay out of their way. You recognize them when they're coming down the road, too. So basically, 60% of the people that went in to do that high-level bust, all women. Full riot gear, decked out.
Well, I've been saying it from the get-go. I'm not one of these people like, look, I don't like feminism because it's a cult of blue-haired weirdos. I'll say that till the cows come home. That having been said, I have no problem with these female cops because, one, like I said, if you've seen half of these female cops and some of these female Marines, holy shit. Yeah, they can handle themselves just fine, even though they're smaller. You know, that's the thing. Like, when they say, you know, a woman shouldn't do a man's job, you know, maybe if you got, you know, something where it involves, like, bulk, yeah, you need a bigger person, like usually a guy, unless you get, like, one of them big butchies like you had in the Boondock Saints, you know? I mean, hell, she looks like she could plow at least 2 fields before noon. So,
well, to be fair, man, I don't have a problem with a woman that can do the job, but I do know a lot of those female Marines actually don't stand up to the full rigors of the job because a lot of them can't pull a man out of the vehicle like another guy can. And when you're in a mixed op unit, you have to be able to rescue anybody, not just someone your size. So it's part of the problem that I have with that. Now, that being said, I don't have that same issue with female cops because they're not trying to pull somebody out of a freaking blown up striker or something like that, where they've got to pull a 300-pound guy to safety by themselves. Instead, they are enforcing laws. And if it means they got to whack the guy in the knee, then whack him in the testicles to put him on the ground to get him to comply, well, it was his own dumb fault.
well, I always said this for years with the military. And when it comes to anything in the field, I always said that they should put together units the same way you would put together people in, like, let's say, boxing. Just for that reason, exactly like you said. Also, it would make it easier if everyone's within, like, the same range, putting them on vehicles. You know, you don't have to tailor things to accommodate a lot of different sizes. You know, it's just, to me, it would make more sense, you know, if they did things like that a certain way. I mean, like, you know how they have the size cutoffs, like, let's say, for the helicopter pilots. And I'm not talking about cutting off their size, but when you have a guy my size, I don't think you want to send him on recon. You know, you want to send somebody smaller.
Actually, 6-foot guys do just fine on recon, Scoob. I want to address a comment here real quick from the Ace of Skulls. Ace, yes, there are certain types of carries that allow you to carry a larger person out of the way. But the problem becomes the capability of using those carries correctly. So a fireman's carry, if you've got a 200-pound soldier picking up another 200-pound soldier in a fireman carry, that person will be able to go for 200 yards or more. If you have a 120-pound soldier trying to pick up a 200-pound soldier into a fireman carry, odds are they cannot go 200 yards like that 200-pound person can.
Yeah.
And when you start running into those kind of scenarios, because you have to also use the carry appropriate for the injury, and not all those carries are appropriate for all injuries. Fireman carry, the chair carry, and the bent arm carry and the waist drag are the most common used for evac. And those are some of the hardest ones to do. There are some others that you can use, but they're just not as effective most of the time and are only used for specific types of injuries.
Yeah. And just really quick to segue back to what I was talking about, I wasn't actually referring to my height. I meant, like, people, like, weight, like, at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I was about, at my peak, I was about 280. That's far too big for recon.
Yeah, shit, yeah, man. You're talking 280 and 6'4". Yeah, you're a door, man. You need to be you need to be running artillery gun. Not.
I was just gonna say, you want to have
trenches
somebody
in the
like that
jungle.
taking it. Yeah, you want to have somebody like that sending shit downtown. You really don't want to have them like up in a tree, you know, because you're gonna have them falling out the tree.
Well, to be fair, you know, a lot of the Green Beret guys I knew were 5'7", 5'8", 5'10".
Yeah, but how heavy?
140 pounds, but they could God, some of those guys kicked like you wouldn't believe.
Oh yeah, but again, I mean, getting them up into a tree or getting them into like a certain spot, like for ambush purposes, you can't use a bruiser for that. Again, like you said, you'd use somebody like that for artillery. It used to be, you know, I remember back when you and I were, you know, like around the age to, you know, like to enlist is right about when it started to change, when they started worrying about people's feelings and shit of that nature. Because before that, they'd test you. They'd see what you were good for, what you were good at. They'd look at your physical stature. They'd compare those against each other, and that's where the hell you got assigned.
Well, you got some choices to it, too. I mean, that's why I ended up in Forward Operations and USERA Command, you know.
Yeah,
But,
well, I mean, somebody my size at my peak, I don't think they would put me in a tank crew, you know?
Well, no, because you were 6'4", and the max cutoff for tank is 6.
Yeah, 6'2", yeah.
They changed it to 6'2". Originally, it was 6.
No, I mean, I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2".
Still, you're 6'2".
Yeah.
So you can't get into a tank at over 6 foot because you physically don't fit.
Right. That's what I'm saying, you know? But, you know, now, I mean, hopefully they haven't changed shit too much, but I mean, I remember they were starting to change things, like, drastically. Like, again...
oh, yeah, man. 6 months after I did basic, they had stress cards, and they were allowed to use cell phones.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, man. I was at Fort Jackson in 2005 when I was going through a recert, and the basic training soldiers were being allowed to go into the PX to buy their necessaries. So, like deodorant, soap, shampoo. And I'm like, wait a minute, PX? We were never allowed to go into the PX when I was in basic. You freaking just got the snot beat out of you by your drill sergeants for 9 weeks. What the heck do these kids need to be doing in the P freaking X? Half of them had cell phones on their hips.
They had this kid. He looked like... I remember watching the story. My father was still alive, may he rest in peace, because I remember him cursing and yelling. He's blaming it on the Democrats with their bleeding hearts. But the point I was getting at was this kid looked like he should have maybe been in supply, if anything. I don't know how the hell he got into the service. I mean, if he was 5 foot, I would have been amazed. And, I mean, skinny as a rail. Skinny little kid. He looked like he was built like a 10-year-old girl. And he hemmed and hawed and kicked his feet. And I think that they put him in something. I want to say they put him in field artillery. And... I mean, it was like they were comparing it. I think it was on the news. They were comparing it to Rudy, that movie with Sean Astin.
Yeah.
And I remember my father, may he rest in peace, he said, oh, good. You know, when they run out of shells, they can stuff the kid into the tube.
Yep. He can be the lanyard and crushed glass in the tube.
Yeah, but my father, the point of it was, and I'm sorry for taking so long with this, the point was, he said to me, because of this young man's feelings being hurt, we had to model collie him, and now that entire unit is at risk. And
pretty much.
That was the point I was getting at with this is the problem I have with them doing this nonsense. You know, worrying about people's feelings. Fuck your feelings. If you're that concerned about it, you know what? Go join the Peace Corps.
You should be more concerned about the people in your unit than you are about having everything accommodated for you. Because that's selfish, that's inconsiderate, and you're probably going to get somebody killed because...
All right, guys, I got to share this meme real quick because I could not believe this one. This is actually very amusing.
Ooh, what'd I miss?
Nope.
Awesome. Terra, I'm going to get you 2 cans.
Nope. You could get me the fucking blue Florida hat before you get me that bullshit.
I already did. It's coming in the mail.
Oh my God.
Does it say Florida man or Florida woman?
No, it says make Florida great again.
Okay. What do you think of that one there,
buddy?
I like that. That's nice.
What do you think of that meme, Burnside?
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, Yeah, so we had just been talking about...
Butt herself.
We had just been talking about the fact that the Ninth Circuit ruled that it is constitutionally legal to open carry in public.
All lower 48?
West Coast only.
There it is. Well,
Nice.
here's the deal, man. The ruling came out of the Ninth Circuit, but that basically will start setting the precedent.
Oh, please take care of my shitty gun laws.
Well, here's the deal, man. The whole fact that the Ninth Circuit ruled that way is just kind of flabbergasting, because they were the circuit that initially shot down the immigration hold out of Muslim countries in the Middle East that were under civil war.
Yeah, they're the Ninth Circus, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's wow, they got a bunch of deranged ancient sodomites with mental issues to agree that constitutional carry is an actual thing. Holy fuck.
Yeah, and they declared that the right to carry a gun in public is a right of self-defense.
Awesome.
So that means that there's likely to be some changes to California's concealed carry laws too.
Oh, this is great. This is gonna be great. Oh, this is awesome. This made
So let me get this straight. Cass was here while I was eating chicken, and as soon as I finish eating my chicken, he disappears.
Yes, yes, he did.
You ate Cass.
Also, guys, apparently we have another discussion here for socialism. Okay. So, according to the Washington Post today, I'm going to share this as well.
Is this the one about the inflation reaching 1,000,000% or some crazy shit like that?
Yep, there it is.
Ah, I see that on Twitter.
Venezuela's inflation rate may hit 1,000,000%.
Holy fuck.
By end of the year.
Look at it. Did you see what James Woods hashtagged it up at the top?
I saw Go Bernie. Hey,
Good for him.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually going to repost it.
Of the 1% will cause the great inflation if we take their shit.
Oh, Bernie.
Oh, dude, this is funny as fuck. This is awesome. Ah, it's not even my birthday yet. I stopped celebrating birthdays.
I'm going to make you celebrate them. I already told you that.
I'm too old.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I'm too old for birthdays. I'm pushing 30. I'm too old for birthdays.
Oh,
you're only, you poor baby.
I'm Burnside. You're only 30.
No, he's 27.
He's 27. Oh, 27. Is he saying he's old?
Yeah. I'm getting closer to 30, but yeah, I'm getting old.
I'm 36 and I still celebrate birthdays.
Burnside, you're not old at 27. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
over 40. I still celebrate birthdays.
Yeah.
You all still celebrate birthdays?
Yes.
Yeah, weirdo.
Who would refuse free cake?
So Burnside, one of my girlfriends just said that if you keep calling yourself old, she's going to fly out to Illinois and beat you with her cast iron skillet till you understand, because she's in her 40s.
Fuck. I remember cooking with. Yeah, those things are a bitch to clean.
They are, but I prefer to clean with I prefer to cook with cast iron.
And they're not a bitch to clean if you do it right.
Cast iron is the thing to cook with because it makes your food taste so much better. I mean, stainless steel is good. Don't get me wrong. I like me some stainless steel. But cast iron, oh, the flavor. The flavor.
Yeah, I know. It's just I can't use soap when cleaning it. So how the fuck do I clean it?
Well,
What you do is you need to season it first when you get it. Season it real good. You put a whole bunch of like Crisco lard into it and stick it in the oven. And you leave it in there like on very low heat and leave it in there for a few hours. That will season it up.
Put it up 250 and bake it for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: you can clean it with soap, but you have to re-season it.
Yes.
And that doesn't take very long actually. You just turn on the oven. You slather in. You can use like a high temp oil, like grapeseed oil, or you can use like a lard. And you put it. You do the same. Do the same thing. So you keep re-seasoning it.
Come on, guys. Let's be real. We use bacon fat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bacon fat works really well. So does Crisco lard.
Yep.
And for the most part, when you're done using it, all you have to do is take a paper towel and wipe it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say I was very spoiled because I was actually a cook for many years. And I was spoiled where I actually had different skillets that we would treat depending on what we were cooking with it. Like we had the one skillet just for shellfish, one skillet just for whitefish, one for white meat, one for dark meat.
There you go.
Yeah. And the food came out phenomenal.
Yes. I got a story to tell you guys offline. It's a doozy, but I have a story to tell you guys. Remind me.
All right. So you said you had a bunch of Florida man stories from the.
Oh, fuck you all.
Bernier. I'm sorry. Chaos news stories.
Chaos news stories. Let's modify that a little bit.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
wait, hang on. Trans activists threat to execute women that don't like social justice.
They can fucking try.
From the Federalist Papers.
They can fucking try.
So a trans activist threatened to execute women who don't like social justice. A few weeks ago, 8 lesbian feminists jumped into the lead of the London Pride Parade to protest sexism and anti-lesbian hate in the LGBT movement. Men across the left in several countries have been losing their minds about it ever since. They claim it was an intimidating act of individualism in the collective tantrum of a man-baby fury. Can you imagine lesbians at Pride, progressive sexism, the nerve? Women, including many feminist lesbians, have been talking about making it in the news in the United Kingdom lately, having a series of peaceful political actions to protest the Conservative Party's government's proposed changes to the 2004 Gender Recognition Act, which would eliminate any need for a medical diagnosis to be able to challenge all of a person's legal documents to conceal his or her birth sex. Women criticizing their gender identity politics have been accused for many years of being puppets of religious conservatives, and the accusation is newly revived, even as it has been passed beneath comment from the UK fortunes, now dependent on a good working relationship with the British Tory party and their Conservative Prime Minister. I don't really know how conservative the current British Prime Minister is, but apparently they seem to think so.
Maybe they're confusing him with Trudeau.
Their idea of conservatism is vastly different than conservatism in the United States. I was actually talking about this today.
Good. So the women have raised concerns in meetings across the UK about how this would affect all single-sex accommodations, including prisons, domestic violence refuges, women-only recreational facilities, homeless shelters, and the privacy and safety of female patients in some medical settings. Gender activists say it's violent to voice these concerns and to say aloud that male people can't be women. Attendees and speakers at these meetings have been intimidated, assaulted, had their employment threatened, been kicked off their political party rolls, been subjected to police inquests, disciplinary hearings for making statements of biological fact, and had a recent bomb threat made against one of their meetings. The violence of women's recognition of biological sex is invoked to excuse this as a proportionate response up from the transgender crowd. So, this shows that there's a lot of violence coming out of the left as the left eats its own.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep. Yep. Whew. Well, you know, it's one of those things where you just you see a group of ideologues, and you see them just walk around with volatile materials up into buildings and throwing the volatile materials around willy-nilly, just it's, you know, just as you like. And well, hey, you know, it's a inevitable foregone conclusion that one of these people is going to light a road flare and start throwing it around too. So yeah, they are eating their own.
With relish.
They relish in playing with fire. And well, gee, they're starting to get burned. That's I guess it's kind of a way of saying, well, you don't say. You don't say. Well, anyhow, we have a Florida man story.
Go ahead and go to the Florida man stories.
Oh, fuck off.
We have actually a Florida deputy story here that's kind of interesting. Apparently, a deputy was busted for DUI after crashing during late-night McDonald's run.
Wait. The deputy was arrested for DUI?
Yeah. A deputy in...
Even the cops.
A deputy in Florida was charged with driving under the influence after crashing into two poles, not one, but two poles, in a McDonald's parking lot, authorities said. Jose Cruz, a 31-year-old detention deputy for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, was arrested after the smash-up during an apparent fast food run into the Highway South Eatery in Rearview around 3:30 a.m. Saturday. Deputy found Cruz's 2011 Ford Ranger stuck on a concrete median after he struck two cement poles, not one, but two cement poles, in the parking lot. He was then asked to perform several field sobriety tests, during which impairment was observed, according to the sheriff's officials. Cruz then provided two breath samples showing blood alcohol contents of 1.0. Sorry, misread that. 0.189 and 0.96 respectively. So almost 0.1. Holy shit. Almost a 1.0. Golly. So he had a bit to drink. Anyhow.
You think?
Almost 1.2 there. Good gosh. Respectively, more than double the legal limit to drive. He was taken into custody on charges of driving under the influence and driving under the influence with property damage. That might explain the hitting of the two poles, because much lower than that, you're probably not going to hit that second pole. You're going to hit that first pole and just kind of stop. But yeah, your brain just isn't functioning fast enough to prevent you from hitting that second pole. So mystery solved. Quote, we remain committed to doing whatever it takes to keep our roadways safe from impaired operators, sheriff officials said in a statement. Yeah. Cruz, who has been employed by the department for 3 years, has been suspended without pay during an internal investigation. So it doesn't really need to be all that internal, I don't suppose. They found his car wrapped around a concrete median and a McDonald's parking lot. I'm pretty sure that's the extent of the investigation. He's in there. He blew what, 0.189 and 196. Investigation over.
When they do an internal investigation, they're going to investigate now his watch commander, his partner, and the rest of his squad.
I see. So it's assessing the guilt of parties around him. I see.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Covered up for him. Did anybody cover up for him? What was done?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also to determine whether or not, he's been drunk on the job and shit like that.
So they're determining
happens all the time here.
Statement here. We remain committed to doing whatever it takes to keep our roadways safe from impaired operators, according to the sheriff's officials. So that they're determining the validity of that. Okay, I see.
Yeah, cops not going to get picked up on a DWI, and someone's ass is not going to get nailed to the wall. No, they have to do it. That's why they somebody. This is going to come down around somebody else's ears.
Yeah.
Because the department's got a black eye now.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Man, I'd rather him come down with a Dewey than a buoy.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, let's see. Speaking of black eyes, the New York Daily News slashes half of its newsroom staff.
Of course they have, because they're in the middle of reducing everything because they cost so much to operate, man.
Yeah,
this is how the lamestream media is going to die. It's not going to go with a bang. It's going to be a slow, crawling whimper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I have some real mixed feelings about this. I'll be honest, as a New York journalist, it's the past 2 years have been probably the two of the hardest years of my life, with everything that I used to believe in unraveling. And just, even though they've become a den of thieves, it breaks my heart seeing this happen.
Yeah.
I know it does, Scoob, but...
Yeah.
They've done it to themselves.
I know. It's just...
Yeah, I get what you're feeling.
Yeah. It's just, this is the industry I grew up my entire life trying to get into. Got into it, the vindication is nice, because I was saying for years after being involved in the industry, it was corrupt, and it's nice to be vindicated, but at the same time, it's just what's happening. It's heartbreaking. I'm sorry.
So, guys, I've got one more headline here I wanted to read for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
This one just got sent to me. Pomona college students say there is no such thing as truth. Truth is a tool of white supremacy.
God's
fucking really?
sake.
This demand caused. This was also presented with a demand for the expulsion of a conservative journalist for reporting on campus liberalism at Claremont College.
Oy vey.
Yeah, they honestly believe this stuff, man.
That is...
These
man.
people are just deranged.
They are. Very sad to say, but they are.
And it's what's really sad to say is, think about it. The only solutions for things like this is, the bywords they've been using, like, we would say it tongue-in-cheek, making fun of them, like they're going to have deprogramming camps. We're going to actually have to deprogram these fucking people.
I know.
That's just fucking hunky-dory. I don't believe in that shit, but it's apparently necessary at this point. And
well, you got to understand, it's going back to the New York Daily News. It's brainwashing from these legacy media places that is partially and probably largely responsible for a lot of these people taking the track that they have. Let's see. If you want me to continue on with the story, I can.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
I wanted to
Yeah.
call that out because I thought you guys might want to hear that.
Well, it
just had
actually
sent to me.
It actually props up this story a bit here.
Yeah,
The New York Daily News, the century-old tabloid known for its provocative headlines, made its own news Monday by slashing half of its editorial staff in the latest retrenchment in the newspaper sector. The Daily, owned by the media conglomerate Trunk, said in an email to employees that the move sought to address the newspaper's significant financial challenges. I wonder how they accrued such financial challenges. There's a mystery to that. There's a mystery that how do I solve that mystery? Well, what comes to mind when?
Come on, kid, we have a mystery to solve.
Yeah,
seriously.
Get in the mystery machine. A source familiar with the matter. With the we have a Scooby here, so. A source familiar with the matter told AFP the cuts represent nearly 50% of the newsroom staff. Trunk declined to comment on the cutbacks or confirm precisely how many staff were affected, but the rival New York Post said the Daily News had some 85 editorial staff before layoffs. The editorial staff will flash to be as the newspaper looks at fundamental restructuring to focus on breaking news, mainly in areas of crime, civil justice, and public responsibility, according to the note of staff.
Civil justice,
which widely, which is what is that, a code word for social justice? Anyhow.
It's the original term for social justice.
Yeah.
It was first civil justice for civil rights.
The decisions. What's that?
Go ahead. Well, it was civil justice for civil rights and then got modified to social justice because you needed your social rights.
Oh, yeah. The decisions being announced today reflect the realities of our business and the need to adapt to an ever-changing media environment. You probably mean one that is rejecting legacy media. I guess that they're trying to mask that with some generalities to an ever-changing media. That's very vague. It's very vague. The top editor. Top editors Jim Rich and Kristen Lee are departing as part of the reorganization, with the new editor-in-chief Robert York coming in from the Morning Call newspaper in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Richard said in a tweet on the latest cuts, "If you hate democracy and think local governments should operate unchecked and in the dark, then today is a good day for you." Woo! The balls on that one. Damn. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, Scooby's favorite guy, denounced the job cuts. Quote, "It's no secret that I have disagreed with the Daily News from time to time," the mayor said on Twitter. "But Trunk's greedy decision to gut the newsroom is bad for government and a disaster for New York City. Trunk should sell the paper to someone committed to local journalism and keeping reporters on the beat." Okay, well, that's one way of interpreting it. Governor Andrew Cuomo, another favorite of our friend Scooby here, expressed dismay that the move came without any notice or request for assistance, pointing out that his father, Mario Cuomo, governor in the 1980s, offered aid to the New York Post under similar circumstances. "Even though the Post represented an opposing active partisan interest, my father understood the value of a robust, free press. So do I," Cuomo said in a statement. "I urge Trunk to What?
I was going to say, except I think now the press is on his side, not opposing.
Right. It's easy to say that. It's easy to say that when the press is on your side. Not easy to say it when it's not. Such is the difference between Andrew and Mario. Let's see. Quote, I urge Trump to reconsider this drastic move and stand ready to work with him to avert this disaster. The newspaper is known for some of the boldest front pages in the industry, including one last week with a cartoon image of President Donald Trump shooting Uncle Sam while holding hands with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Below a headline that reads, Open Treason. Among its most famous was the Ford the City drop dead in 1975, when then President Gerald Ford refused federal aid to stave off the Big Apple's imminent municipal bankruptcy. In 2016, it reprised that theme with the headline, Drop Dead Ted, after Senator Ted Cruz announced New York values in denounced New York values in a Republican presidential primary debate. But the Daily has faced some financial troubles, as much of the newspaper industry. Once among the largest U.S. newspapers, it has fallen behind in the digital age and has failed to keep pace with crosstown rival the New York Times, and its newsroom estimated at over 1,000. In 2017, Trump purchased the Daily News for $1 while assuming its pension liabilities after previous owner Mort Zuckerman had been absorbing losses estimated at $30 million annually. The Daily News has won 11 Pulitzer Prizes since its founding in 1919, including one last year for its reporting on police abuse of eviction rules to oust poor residents from their homes. So legacy media, I guess the legacy of the legacy media is, well, to
have no legacy. The legacy of the legacy media is to have no legacy.
To
hey,
throw
Scooby, you should
themselves
see what my
onto the
brother
train
said in the
track.
chat.
Oh God, what did he say?
Something about I figured they would say something like that.
Oh God, I'm gonna look
Does
now.
Scooby prefer cookie dough instead of Scooby snacks?
Kelt, I swear to Christ, I'm gonna find you and saran wrap you to your fridge and leave you in your kitchen.
I have his address.
You're the best.
And
So,
tape his butt cheek closed.
My girlfriend just heard me say that, and she said that she could always send you cookies done up in dog bones.
Oh, okay.
She's got the molds for it.
And she doesn't
very cool.
understand the joke.
Oh, I know, but she thought it would be amusing, so I thought I'd pass it along.
Okay.
I appreciate that, Terra. Thank you. Really quick before I forget, what took me a minute while I was away from the computer, I went into the other room, and I heard on the news, the police are freaking out. They have no idea how they got there. The only guess we have is the 59th Street Bridge. There's coyotes in Nassau County.
Coyotes.
Yeah.
I mean, not the people. The
No, not the smugglers. They usually don't come north of Jersey. No, we're talking actual, the four-legged type.
Yeah, the critter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
I thought that was kind of cool. I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, no shit. I was sitting in there watching the news. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Coyotes? I'm sitting there. Yeah. Like,
are they
anyone,
coyotes or are they coy wolf?
No, they're actual coyotes.
Jesus.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We have no idea how the hell they got there, because the only way for them to, because they're not in Queens and they're not in Suffolk. And they said they must have came across on the 59th Street Bridge and came into Long Island City in Queens, and then just walked the 3 or 4 miles into Nassau County, you know, because Queens and Nassau are right there next to each other. That's the thing.
Wow.
You can't get out of Nassau unless you cut through Queens. There's no way out of that county. Well, I mean, unless you turn around and go with Suffolk, but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, we have no idea how the hell these things got there. I'm watching this one guy. Yeah, we think they swam from Connecticut.
Yeah, he's a doofus.
Actually, he's the head of the ASPCA.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's intelligent.
That's
Remember, tenure has its privileges now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the ASPCA has janitorial staff. Shit.
They swam here from Connecticut. He thinks that they either swam here from Connecticut or they ran across the train lines up on the 59th Street Bridge. That's what he was saying. And I'm thinking about it. And he said also, now this is the thing. I'm pretty sure there's some freight bridges from Nassau up over across into Connecticut, you know, and because I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, though. Where the hell would there be a freight bridge going into Connecticut from Nassau? Because if you look at the map, the only thing I would think of is you might have a freight bridge going up into the Bronx from like Western Nassau, right on the border of Queens. But then again, you know, I have to look at the map again because, you know, it's to me, I can't see how the hell they would get there other than the 59th Street Bridge. It's the closest thing. But this is the thing. The 59th Street Bridge goes into Midtown Manhattan. How the hell did they get onto the thing? You know? It's like mind-blowing.
They just wandered on.
What, in Midtown Manhattan? Damn thing spills out right into downtown.
Yeah, and?
I think we'd notice coyotes in Manhattan. I mean, I know that de Blasio's... I know his administration isn't that, but I'd like to think that the NYPD is still on top of shit. Like plus, where that lets out, there's also usually a contingent of National Guard just hanging out, you know, bullshit. So...
Oh, yeah, the National Garage.
Yeah.
Scooby?
Yo.
He says, on a different note, we can make a new cookie for Scooby. A Scooby Doodle, like a Snickerdoodle, but quote-unquote enhanced.
Is it Scoobalicious?
Are we talking infused here?
Oh.
You know, Terra, I did order you that hat. I'm not even joking.
I know you did.
And as God is my witness, I'm going to try to get you to meet the president.
Just and I will fart right in his face and walk away.
No, you'll take a picture with him.
No,
it'll be great.
No,
it'll be great. You'll be awestruck. I'm telling you, it's that. Yeah, you will. It's that hair on his head, like a comatose porcupine. It'll mesmerize you.
Speaking of
the mongoose snake charming thing on her.
Oh, speaking of snake charming, I have our horoscope there, Mountain Man.
Let's hear it, man.
Let's hear it. Okay. For Taurus, foundations come to the forefront for review now. The planetary winds bring a fresh insight on the importance of your roots and how they influence your philosophies and beliefs today. Although you prefer to stay grounded in tradition, the very nature of your being receives a cosmic electric shock, which draws you toward new and unusual methods of experiencing the world. Lean to the uncertainty as you transition to your next best self. Poet John O'Donohue wrote, "The greatest friend of the soul is the unknown." This sounds like a call to take peyote or something. I don't know.
I don't know, man. You know, I did a lot of soul searching while I was at Sea Dogs partying like it was $16.99. I mean, I did end up hosting an absinthe tasting service. You know.
Yeah, I did a lot of soul searching in that 104-degree heat yesterday. Maybe that was hallucinating. I don't know.
Yeah, man, that was... I wasn't the one drinking the absinthe. I was the one pouring it.
Oh, okay. Anyhow, that was the good old horoscope for Taurus. And let's see.
Do we have any other Florida man stories?
We have. I don't know if it's Florida, but it's a Massachusetts man. So Tennessee Marines out there going, yay! Okay. Massachusetts man arrested for working out naked at Planet Fitness.
Oh, God.
Thought it was a judgment-free zone.
Yeah, it's judgment-free, but it's still no shirt, no shoes, no service.
All right. Eric Stagno of Haverhill, Massachusetts, was charged with indecent exposure, lewdness, and disorderly conduct. A man who stripped naked before working out at a New Hampshire gym told officials that he thought he was in a judgment-free zone before being arrested. 34-year-old Eric Stagno of Haverhill, Massachusetts, was charged with indecent exposure. lewdness and disorderly conduct on Saturday for taking off his clothes and exercising at Playsto Planet Fitness. This guy looks like he escaped from like a guru movie episode. Yeah, I got a picture of him. He looks like he escaped from some sort of guru movie.
Let's see it, man. Can you screen share it for us?
I think I can screen share it. Let's see. I hope I don't throw my government up there, as Scooby might say. But where the hell is it?
If you can't, man, it's all right. But I'd like to see this bug nuts guy.
Well,
working out naked at the Planet Fitness. I mean, you know, I want to see the audacity in his eyes.
Oh, I'm back. Oh boy, has it been fun at work already?
Because it's one thing to free ball in your workout shorts at a public gym. It's another to work out completely nude.
Wait, who the hell decided to work out nude? What the fuck?
You, Dad.
Oh,
yeah,
Connecticut man.
Yeah, Massachusetts man.
Sorry, Massachusetts man.
Massachusetts man? Okay, what's his last name?
Stagno.
Okay, no relation, thank God.
You were worried it was one of your cousins?
He was afraid it was his dad.
Oh, God. Police say he walked back and forth and started doing poses on a yoga mat. He allegedly referenced Planet Fitness's slogan that it is a judgment-free zone. Stagno is free on bail and is scheduled to be arraigned on September 21st in Plaistow District Court.
Oh, the guy who resembles Schmeckle.
Schmeckle?
Yeah, he resembles Schmeckle. I seen the guy. I looked at the picture, and for a split second, like this morning when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's not him. Like, if you ever seen him without his camera on, that's what he resembles him.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That means we're going to have to make memes of this guy and send it to Schmeckle.
Yes, you are. By all means.
Meme to your black heart's content.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely, because I already got to meme a few things. Speaking of memes, has anyone heard from Foster?
I sent him an invite, man, but he didn't respond.
He's in a dark place right now.
He's where?
He's in a dark place right now.
That's a pity.
What do you mean?
Developing film?
No, he's really depressed. That's all I'm going to say.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Anyhow, we have... Okay. we have a Florida woman story.
Oh, G.O.P.
Did she violate alligators?
No, it sounds like she was violating herself. Woman spends quite some time fiddling with rear end.
Ah!
Great. Indian Town. A woman jailed on DUI and drug charges got in more trouble after investigators report she spent quite some time extracting stuff from her rear end. Records show.
Oh, wow.
We talk like the magician with the scarves?
Yeah. Martin County Sheriff's officials about 2 p.m. on July 9th encountered Leona Hubbard, 38, during a traffic stop in Indiantown. She was in a Chevrolet Trailblazer that deputies say traveled erratically. A deputy reported smelling burned marijuana and spotting a vape pen. Hubbard's eyes were glassy. Her speech slurred, records show. Hubbard said she'd been at a doctor's office where she received Botox injections. That's a new one. Well, probably not a new one, but it's a new one for her. She said she was taking Xanax, used in treating anxiety and panic disorders. The painkiller Percocet and Subutex, used in treating opioid addiction. She agreed to take field sobriety exercises, saying she could perform the tasks. She noted she couldn't put all her weight on her left leg and had a boob job weeks earlier, but was okay. After participating in the exercises, Hubbard was arrested on a DUI charge. Deputies reported finding items including vape pens, hash oil, brass knuckles, and a pocket knife.
Ah! Wait, are
I
brass
wonder where she
knuckles
was
legal
keeping.
there?
I was wondering if she was keeping the brass knuckles in her back door. At the jail, a corporal reported Hubbard tried to pull something from her rectum. The last section of the large intestine that ends in the anus. Oh, this is the newspaper that likes to tries to educate you.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're learning all about the rectum, what it is and what it leads to. It's the last section of the large intestine that ends in the anus. The more you know. Quote, he stated she had
Well,
been
knowing
at
it's
it
half
for
the
quite
battle.
some time. Exactly. An affidavit states, deputies fished out 2 plastic baggies from the toilet where Hubbard was sitting. Dissolved pills were in the toilet. Hubbard said nothing was in the baggies. I pointed out that no one would attempt to hide nothing and asked what was in them, the report states. She refused to tell me and stated they were empty bags. Empty bags typically are stored in pantries as opposed to rectums. Thanks for informing me on that one.
Maybe she just likes having plastic bags rustle up in her wind hole. I don't know.
It could be a kink.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
I
what
should
I'm
do some
saying.
research on that.
If anything, we could ask Wolfie and company. Okay, how many of you guys like to have beads of empty plastic bags shoved up
Actually,
your cornhole?
all Mountain Man and I have to do is go to fetlife.com and put in the search plastic bags and anus, and it'll pull it up.
Oh yeah, not to mention, man, Wolfie actually invited me to go do a stream with him next Monday.
Nice.
Oh, fun.
So she has aspirations of becoming a plastic bag dispenser.
Yep.
Good to know. Good to know.
Rectal
Hubbard
kind.
of Indiantown was arrested on charges including driving while license
Indiantown.
suspended. Suspended with license suspended with knowledge, possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana, possession of hash oil, possession of drug paraphernalia, introduction of contraband, and tampering with evidence.
That's a start.
She's 38. She looks 58.
Well, of course. I mean, if she's been using shit that hard and been hiding drugs up in her anus, of course she's looking old.
Wow.
I mean, eventually that stuff ages you when you use it too much.
And
Just
Burnside,
like the Booze Mahal.
you asked if brass knuckles were legal in Florida. It's legal to sell them, but you can't own them.
Yeah, it's one of those sorts of deals.
I thought you could own them, but you couldn't carry them.
No, you can't own them either. They make it illegal to own, possess, sell, use, or use brass knuckles, but it's actually legal to sell them. They have the same thing with throwing stars and throwing cards and butterfly knives. It's legal to sell them, but it's illegal to own them or use them. Ask me how I know.
You had aspirations of becoming a ninja, but they said no.
Not exactly. I actually own throwing cards. They're at my dad's somewhere. And I owned a butterfly knife, which was given to me for protection when I lived in Oklahoma. And they took it saying that it's illegal to own them. I'm like, then why do I see knife places selling them all the time? Oh, well, it's legal to sell them. You just can't own one.
Okay.
Speaking of ninjas, really quick before we get too far away from it, not this Saturday, the Saturday before. Yeah, I think it was Saturday. I got hit up, or it might have been Friday. No, it was Friday. Excuse me, Friday during after hours. I got hit up out of nowhere by a buddy of mine, and I told you guys about this guy. He used to live in Seattle. I don't know where he lives right now. He's an actual ninja.
Oh wow!
Like ninja, like trained. I'm not talking about just like some putz with the costume. I mean, he actually knows how to do all that shit. I grew up with him. He's one of my best friends. He's one of my only friends who's still alive. And you just reminded me of it when you said ninja, so I just thought I'd mention that. I'm gonna try to get him on one night. So just thought I'd mention that since you brought up Ninja. It just made me remember.
And speaking
So,
of
guys-
ninjas, Irving Twin in the chat said coyotes are super sneaky when they want to be.
Oh
So,
yeah.
guys, I just got a breaking news alert from D.C. in Virginia. Latest ice sweep in Washington, D.C. nets 132 illegal aliens.
Nice. Very cool.
So that's 132
Not surprising, but
illegal voters off the rolls, I guess.
there you go.
I don't know if y'all saw those videos I did recently about the voting issues.
Did you see the thing I put up this morning in my Discord about Cuomo? What he did? ICE was about to deport all these illegals, so he pardoned them.
Wait, he can do that? I thought on the
How can he pardon them for a federal crime?
Yeah, you took
The
the
hell
right
out
out
of
of my
me.
mouth there.
Beats the hell out of me. You might want to look at it. The article's in my Discord. I didn't look at it because I knew I'd throw the computer across the room, so I didn't want to look at it.
What
But,
did you do? Put it in the Democrat?
Yeah, I put it in the main chat. It's the one with all the angry hate symbols around it. You know, the angry emojis, like the hateful ones, the rage,
Yeah,
the
I
red
see
ones.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
get it over.
the New York Democrat who's up for re-election this year pardoned 7 people who had minor criminal convictions ranging from petty larceny to drug possession. With the pardons, Cuomo didn't miss the opportunity to take a dig at Trump and its zero-tolerance policy for immigration that left thousands of minors separated from their families after illegally crossing the Mexico border.
Well, you know, every minor is separated from their family when their parent commits a crime.
Yep. That's part of the standard operation in the United States. If you commit
Oh
a
no,
crime,
it's being claimed that they're just taking them to, while they interrogate the families, but they're keeping the children in cages like dogs.
No, they're not.
I actually, 3 of us over at the apartment, NightCrow D20, I actually got in a debate with an Ontario communist on Twitter. I was telling Terra about this a little bit. Yeah, we right around when I was getting up in the afternoon. Yeah, we got in a massive debate with this Ontario communist because he was bitching about children being held in cages and a lack of empathy and blah blah blah. And I just kept throwing videos and articles and shit at him, and I was like, "It's not a thing. What the fuck are you talking about?" After I do my rounds, if you want, I can go and tell you guys all about that.
Bro, I actually know an ICE agent. They're not doing
Nice.
anything. Yeah. They're not doing anything like bad. They're not sticking kids in fucking dog cages.
I've
Yeah.
seen the ICE detention facility in Portland, and I know what Portland DHS does with kids that are separated from their families, including illegals who have their kids taken from them and put into protective child custody. They are not in dog cages. They are in standard foster homes in the Portland metro area.
The footage...
When it comes to next to the Mexican border, just letting you know that they're claiming it's a secret facility.
I'm sure they are claiming it.
There are no secret child.
It's a secret facility that is actually being kept back in time.
Yeah, that's you mean the footage from Obama, right? Yeah, from when that son of a bitch had them wrapped up in the blankets.
That's the best place that Trump can keep these detention facilities. It's actually back in time.
They send them back in time using the flux capacitor and
using his 4D chess machine. He's keeping it back in time to hide it from the liberals.
The dialects.
From the
Here's your one, guys. Ted Nugent endorses John James for U.S. Senate.
Oh, cool. Who's John James?
A black former cavalry officer from the U.S. Army.
Nice.
And they say Nugent is a crazy man.
They also say he's a white supremacist, which is a complete and utter fucking lie.
Oh yeah, they called him a white supremacist as well, but yeah, that's a complete lie. Yeah, so he considers him a blood brother and is going to vote for James and is encouraging others. James is running for Detroit. He's running for a U.S. Senate seat in Michigan, including Detroit. Is going to be the area that he's going to be covering as the senator. And he's a former cavalry captain.
Nice.
Excellent. Excellent.
I'll have to dig into his career and see if he's worth voting for. And if he is, I'll have to create a support video for him.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, so far he sounds better than the alternative, which is the person who's already in charge.
So I just want to do a quick little segue here. I don't know if. So I was talking to Scoob and Terra about this last night, but you know the Chaos 120 HostNet Discord.
Yeah.
It's just for hosts. I took the liberty of changing the everybody's names. You all have new code names.
Oh God, mine better still be Harlequin because you have Sinestro.
You have Agapo, who is the founder of the Star Sapphires.
I'm Harley fucking Quinn.
Brother Wrath?
Warth. It's a theme.
Oh, Warth.
You have to know what the theme is.
I know what the theme is.
And
it's the Lantern Corps.
Yeah, you're different members of different Lantern Corps. So you're from the Blue Lanterns there, Veteran Mountain Man. You're a guy named Brother Warth.
And
You're Worf. He's actually giving you the name Worf.
And so Irate Prostate, you were Natromo from the Indigo Lantern Corps.
Oh, nifty.
And Scooby, you're Hal Jordan from the Green Lantern Corps.
Of course I am. Thank you.
Burnside is Atrocitus from the Red Lantern Corps. Weebo is Agent Orange. Weebo is Agent Orange from the Orange Lantern Corps.
Agent Orange. I see they ran out of creative things.
He did it because she's a redhead.
Oh, Weeb's Agent Orange?
And it's Agent, so it seemed fitting. She's Agent Orange.
I mean, she does have her own calculated foot-pound of force. Yeah, you could classify that as a chemical weapon, depending on the circumstances.
Hey, did anyone hear about what happened in Greece? I'm just curious.
No, I haven't heard anything. I've slept for several hours today.
I went into the news before the other room before to look at something really quick, and the news was on. I wouldn't have been looking except for what was on the screen. It looked just like the scene out of the beginning of Terminator 2, Judgment Day. And what it was, because of the drought over there, the wildfires got so severe, whole cities are burning down. And if you look, the highways, all the cars are shells because the cars just started catching fire.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So
that's
70 plus
interesting.
are dead.
Yeah, it's sick to look at. Just check it out.
That's kind of messed up, but that's also kind of interesting at the same time. It's probably going to be kicking off again in Syntagma.
Yep.
So get a load of this, guys. I just got another post through my Twitter feed. North Dakota middle school teacher who allegedly made students call her Kim Kardashian is accused of having sex with a 16-year-old student and sending nude Snapchats to 2 underage male students.
Why couldn't I have a teacher like that?
Which way do I take this? Put my foot in her ass or go, woman, we need to have a talk?
Well, see, Burnside, you want to put your foot in her ass because otherwise she's just going to drop to her knees and do, what I plan to do to you in the hotel room. But see, then I'd have to find her and beat her ass if she tries to do that.
Yeah. That sounds about right, ironically.
See, I can't understand these teachers that are going after these teenage boys. It makes no sense, that...
It's hey, it's the other shoe of pedophilia.
It really is.
I guess so. That's really the only thing I could think of is, they like them that young because it's the thing. Or, in fact, it is pedophilia. Pedophilia.
I remember when it happened in my high school a lot. It did actually happen a lot in my high school. A bunch of the teachers nailed a lot of the students. I mean, there was a lot of cross-screwing going on for years. It was one of those things. It was like an open secret, like the whole damn town knew about it. And it's funny because my school district, I think I told you, Joy Behar was a teacher here, and I just remember like some of the stories I would hear about, like all the shit that went down, like with these teachers from when I was younger. And this school district was amazingly corrupt back in the day, and I actually know. Fuck it, it's like 30 years ago. I'm not even going to name names, but I actually know I was friendly with a student that nailed a female teacher. And to be fair, she was, I think, 21 years old or 22. And this guy, he was like one of those students, he kept getting left back. He was a retard. So he was just really good looking. So I think they were like the same age. It was like he had, I think so. She was 21, and the state at the time forced graduated you at 21. So this Putz, I think, was 20, and he was still in high school. Yeah, so it was like
that's
nothing.
A little different, man.
Yeah, no, I know.
These kids were 15 and 16 years old with a 37-year-old woman.
Oh God, I went to junior high with a kid that actually was old enough that he had a junior license. He was able to drive there. Like he was one of those people. Like the state actually had to just force graduate him. They had to give him his diploma in like 10th grade because at that point he hit like 20. They're like, look, you got to leave. Or 21 now. He hit 21, I think, like 10th or 11th grade. They're like, here, get out. You're done. They used to do that back then. Yeah, that's how they used to do it back then. They started to change all the rules. That's when they started actually like giving a shit and paying attention to these kids, because you couldn't have. I had a friend. He's a good friend of mine. He did 8 years in high school.
Jesus.
Wow. Did they give him a PhD after that?
Do you know how many people I know that when I say they graduated high school, like when I say I'm the only one of my friends that graduated, it's a bit of a stretch. I should actually say I'm the only one of my friends who graduated on time, because I do have other friends who graduated, but they were in the public school system for anywhere from another 2 to 4 years. They were in there for the maximum. Yeah. You realize I had one friend, he kept dropping out and re-enrolling every new semester until he turned 21 because he would go back to school for a new girlfriend because New York state law, like the Romeo and Juliet laws, protected him. So this degenerate used to go back there and like try to pick up like the 10th graders, the 9th graders, the young girls.
Jesus.
Oh, so he was Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and
Confused.
But legally, because the state has laws that protect you, because there's such a population here, the state doesn't want to be bothered. So they put in laws in effect like that. As long as you're in the state system. As long as you're in the state system.
And the girls all stay the same.
Yeah, so technically you can have a 20-year-old man going after a 14-year-old girl in the New York school system, and it's one of those things. Now, this is, like I said, this is 20 years ago. They might have changed the law since I graduated, but the way they had it work back then, you couldn't do shit.
Yeah, but man, there's still a big difference between a 20-year-old and a 14-year-old and a 30.
Oh, I agree with you. It's just that the population is so high. You have to understand. My neighborhood is 3.2 miles, and 1.6 of those miles is water. And in that remaining landmass is 48,000 people. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now think about that and look at how big the map is of the island. and we got something like a couple of million people there. You know, and I think at our highest point, the population hit like 11 million between us, all 4 counties: Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, Suffolk. So, because of the population density in certain areas, which is all downstate, Albany just decided to say, "Fuck it." If you're in the state system and you're fucking around with another girl that's in the system, as long as you're both in the system, they don't fucking care. Like, they had to do that because they were arresting kids right and left. Like, they would turn 18 and the parents would call, like, the cops because they didn't like the son of a bitch that's dating their daughter. And then, boom, you have, like, thousands of kids every year getting arrested. And it started to become an epidemic, so they changed the law. You know?
Well, and I get that.
Changing the law makes everything.
Yeah.
Well, I do understand the need for some of those Romeo and Juliet laws, like the ones here in Oregon where an 18-year-old can date a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
But when it becomes
Oregon,
a habitual revolving door of this guy keep going back for more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like it's a damn buffet.
The thing is, though, in Oregon, the way they set the laws up, if you're 20, you can't date a 15-year-old, but you can date a 16. If you're 21, you can't date a 16-year-old, but you can date a 17. So they set it up in a progressive movement up. So
I think in New York State, as long as there's a 4-year margin, and if you're not in the school system, if she's 16 and you're 20, it's cool. I think that's how it works. Like if she's 15 and you're 19, it's cool. If she's 14 and you're 18, I forget how it works. 13 and 17, I think that there's like a cutoff at that point. It's a very strange the way that they have the laws worked here. But it's because it's like I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's like within a 4-year margin. It's something like akin to like the Romeo and Juliet law. But well, they put it that way because you have all the people from down in South America who have their young brides, and you have all the people from the Middle East with their young brides. So again, it was just because we don't have courts to we can't handle the volume because of how many of these fucking people came here that are violating the law. Like, you know, they're married to their wife, you know, since she was 8. And, you know, they're celebrating the, you know, like their 60th anniversary. Do the mathematics in your head. And, you know, that's the problem that we had here. So we had to adjust the laws. So they tried to put it within like a 4-year margin, I think it is. I'm not sure. Again, we adjust the laws constantly. Look at Cuomo with how he's, you know, constantly wiping his ass with the Second Amendment.
Well, like
All
I
right,
said,
I'm actually looking it up, your Romeo and Juliet law, Scooby.
To be honest, it sounds like it's relatively batshit crazy.
Well, in New York, the age of consent is 17.
Right.
In Florida, it's 18, but our Romeo and Juliet law is 16 to 24.
Yeah, you see what I mean? They I don't know what if we might have had a Romeo and Juliet law. They might have booted it. I don't know. Well, unfortunately, we're one of those states where whenever we get a new governor, there is sweeping change. So you got to really stay on your toes.
Okay. New York does not have a Romeo and Juliet law.
Okay, see? There you go. We may have had one once upon a time.
Because it says the age of consent is 17. But individuals age 16 or younger in New York are not legally able to consent to sexual activity. Such activity may result in prosecution for statutory rape.
Hey, Burnside, are you out jogging?
No, there's a fan blowing over the phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there, let me go. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the phone cool so that it doesn't start melting down on me because it's done that several times lately.
Okay, I was just wondering. It's like
there are some weird states that have some very, very bizarre marriage laws. So, like in some states, with a parent's consent, a person can get married at like 15, and if they're
my mother did that.
If they're married, it is then consenting to have sex with their spouse.
Lovely loopholes. It's
And
probably what
also,
Cuomo's been
Burnside,
using.
you'll be happy for this.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois does not have a Romeo and Juliet law.
Good. It means less Oahu sodomite bars I have to fucking deal with. It's enough I have the regular ones to deal with and the communist ones to deal with. I don't need anyone trying to, sell the idea to Romfuhrer that, that he can make a couple $100 by just allowing child brides. Because you do that, that motherfucker will definitely bite. I guarantee it.
Well,
he wants as much money as he can get out of anything and anyone.
my mother got married off at like 15, and my sister got married off at like 17. It's an old world Catholic thing,
Yeah.
Well, and
I think I told.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say. I think I told you my parents were considered liberals by my family because my father didn't have a problem with a woman that wore pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family's that old fashioned.
Oklahoma or Oregon doesn't have a Romeo and Juliet law.
Yes, they do. You gotta be on a bad site, hon.
I am on ageofconsent.net.
Okay, that doesn't sound like it's updated then. When was the last time do they show a revision or update listing?
Let me scroll to the bottom because it's either at the top or at the bottom on websites. So.
Interesting.
It says it was updated this year.
So, unlike adolescents who are under the age of consent but are close in the same age, anyone 14 years or older can consent to having sex with someone who is no more than 3 years older than them.
Interesting.
According to this, the Oregon age of consent is 18. The minimum age which individuals considered legally old enough to consent. Individuals aged 17 or younger are not legally able to consent to sexual activity.
Yeah, see.
And when I looked at the one for Florida, it brought up the 16 to 23, but I have called in the past and it's 16 to 24. And that was actually for friends. Texas is.
This is one of those things, when people talk to me about it, the age of consent. Let me ask you guys before I give you my opinion. What do you guys think? You think it should be a federal thing or states' rights?
I'm okay with states' rights, but realistically, I think that the United States, with this expanded push to create a longer and longer childhood, is damaging society.
Yeah.
Because now they're trying to, give voting rights to 16-year-olds, but take gun rights from 18-year-olds till they're 21.
Yeah.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to create these kind of crazy concepts. I honestly think we might want to consider moving it down to 16 for everything. But I would also consider moving it to 20.
I agree. I'd also like them to actually make it where these kids have to do a little bit more time in school. I don't think that I think they're letting them out too early at 18, 19 years, 18 years old. I think maybe keep them in there for another year or two. Make them maybe do their first 2 junior years of college. Make it mandatory.
I don't know, man. I did just fine leaving high school at 18.
Yeah, but you're intelligent. Some of these kids are complete assholes. They need the direction.
You know what, man? Maybe they just need their skulls thumped by a drill sergeant or something. I mean, or...
Well, yeah, the ones that can cut the mustard, but what about the pussies? We have to think of them, too.
Well, that survival of the fittest, man. Not all wheat survives the chaff.
Yeah, I know that.
Say it, but...
Well, look, we can't start lining them up. I mean...
I never said line them up and put a round in them. I'm just saying that some people are not going to make it, no matter what you do. And it's sad, it's unfortunate, and it sucks. And you try to help those people. But no matter what you do in the way of trying to educate them, they're just not going to do it. I knew guys in my high school that were 16, 17, 18 years old. They were still freshmen. And I mean, all they wanted to do at school was pick fights and get themselves suspended or expelled.
Yeah, I know that, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, those are the people that the social programs and the socialists, they turn to them and they're like, well, this is the proof. We need social programs. And my response to them is, no, we don't.
It's actually the proof that we don't need social programs, because
Yeah.
giving them a safe cushion that they can always be sure that they have actually is incentivizing them to not for their existence. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have to help people that genuinely need help, but
I wanted to ask you something, and I'm not being like I'm being half sarcastic when I say this, but it's it is half joking, but it's half serious too, because it is a legit question. Now, the old man, and I mean Terra's favorite person when I say the old man. The old man was talking about how he wants to start a sixth branch in the military, the Space Force.
Yeah.
I was thinking, actually, now bear with me on this. I'm not looking so much as like another branch in the military on top of that, but just something along the lines of, we got all these, like these thugs, these violent offenders, these people that they're not good for anything but violence. Why not just train these people and arm them and farm them out as like a discount force? Like, just, like, hey, listen, you got a country, you wanted to look, we got these people, you can have them. Just give us some bread.
Turn them into Hessian mercenaries for the most part.
Yeah.
Man. I think that's insanely dangerous. So the U.S. decided that they would not trade in state-sponsored mercenaries, no matter what.
That's such
that we wouldn't hire them, that we wouldn't create them, that we wouldn't sell them as a nation. And
not to sound racist, but can you imagine if we got, like, seriously, if we started offering this up to like some of them big ass Mandingo motherfuckers over in Detroit that are like, a couple of generations hard of like, growing up in those streets? My God, can you imagine how good those guys would do in urban warfare? Seriously, if you offered that to them as an opportunity, like, listen, we'll give you the training. You just get to go over there and kill the, shit out of people. And,
some of that goes on anyway. A lot of those gangs have been sending a percentage of their recruits to the U.S. Army to use them to
get that training and bring it back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying it's like a form of urban renewal here. I'm just saying go straight up into the hood and be like, start farming it out. Like, look, we'll give you the training, and you're going to go through mercenary work for one of these people. They're going to pay the living shit out of you. You're going to be overseas for maybe 5-10 years, but you're going to come back. You're going to be in the high six figures, maybe the low sevens in your bank account. I don't see a problem with that.
That's actually one of the things that broke Blackwater, was the fact that they did that and they abused their power during the Iraq War, because they were consistently arresting the wrong people for informants. They kept arresting civilians that didn't know shit. Good idea normally, but the problem is just given the personalities that a lot of these crack baby McGee's have, is they're good for disposable infantry. But the problem is, unless you can actually rein them in, they become a fucking nightmare, legally speaking, for any merc group.
Yeah, and that was the same point you were going to make, right, Mountain Man?
I was basically going to say, yeah, even if you send them out and let them be used in, like, say, foreign combat zones and such, when you do finally retire them and let them come back, you have basically created somebody who doesn't know anything but organized killing.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have enough of them die to counterweight the numbers that survive, and now they got a six-figure bankroll.
Yeah, well, actually, there is a way. There is a solution, You want to know the solution? You're going to love this. Here's the solution. You schedule the flight to make sure that you make sure to retire them all around the same time. Not all at once, different groups of them. And when you go to retire them, make sure, actually, you can maybe even retire the whole bunch of them in one shot. You get like a really nice big plane, like a 747. And then you just drop that motherfucker with a missile. And there's how you start your next proxy war. You just pin it on whoever the fuck you need.
Oh, that's cruel and unusual.
But it works.
You'd still have too many of them retiring too frequently for you to do it that way, man.
Well, you blow the rest of them out the fucking sky. You just make sure it don't wind up on the news. You do it over the Atlantic in '86 and adios, my friend. But the rest of them, you drop them over wherever you need. Like seriously, you don't let it. It's not like the communique is going to get back to anybody.
Actually, in this day and age,
It's possible.
You can't shoot a plane out of the sky in this day and age and people not figure it out. And if it happened once, okay. If it happened twice, okay. If it happened 10 times, people would start noticing.
All right. Well, you're just gonna have to wait till they land and take them out on the runway. Then we could do that at least.
If you wanted to go ahead and kind of a disposable program for guys like that, the only real way you could do that is if you let them retire and then you kind of gate them all in.
Or
like, give them Have you guys never seen the movie Red?
I've seen Red.
Yeah.
I've also
no, they'd be too dangerous to even consider just doing that. You would have to take them out before they actually are able to say, I've completed my mission.
Yeah, so you put an implant in their skull, blows their head off. I mean, there's dozens of different things.
Now we're at Suicide Squad.
There's dozens of things you could do. Seriously, we have the options. We have the technology. We could do this shit. I'm just saying. Look, I'm trying to. I'm thinking of the people. Damn it, we're trying to do urban renewal here.
I understand that, man,
I'm just saying that if we're going to go with something like that, there's some logistical things you need to work out, and there's also the problem of, all right, if these fuckers survive by some miracle, you technically have to legally give them some general reprieve or concession or some shit like that.
Yes, if you want to really let it back into the country. Yeah.
No, what I'm thinking is give them a fucking vacay island and put them all on there, and then if they kill each other, then they kill each other. Oh, here's a swath of U.S. fucking territory over in the whatever the fuck, Pacific, Atlantic, whatever, and stuff. Drop them over there. Here you go. Here's a whole bunch of shit. You guys go have fun. Go fucking party your ass off, and then
there's some booze and bungalows and
yeah. Chances are, because the immediate problem is when they come home, if they haven't been humanized, then you've basically bankrolled an entire gang. Because as ironic as it is, this is during World War I. This is kind of what the IRA did to get themselves going. The only thing was they did it the wrong way, because instead of sending everyone into to the British Royal Marine Corps and then training their revolutionaries, they did both things they tried to do both things at the same time and dropped the ball horribly. But later generations wound up picking it up from there. But nowadays, if we take some McCringleberries in that, we can't humanize these donkey teeth McCringleberries who have fucking Marine Corps training plus Merc gear to boot and what have you. Then that could become a problem if they wind up hitting U.S. soil. So we'd immediately have to go, all right, give them a fucking vacay island or something like that, because you got to literally gate them off in a certain area, but you have to gate them off to a point where they're going to be content.
Why not just keep rotating them back, no downtime, rotate them back till they're dead?
The problem is, man, is you wouldn't be able to kill enough of them consistently. So not to mention, eventually some of them would would come up with a way to find either to escape or be demanding concessions to their contracts, because remember, this is the United States. You can't forcibly imprison someone into work like that. You can convict someone of a crime, but you can't imprison them into work like that. That's constituted as slavery. So,
I'm not even thinking of doing it like that. I'm talking about really enticing them with sweetening the pot. I'm talking giving them bonuses and sign-up bonuses.
Yeah, but the thing is, man, is eventually they're going to tire of it, or eventually they're not going to be able to keep up.
Right. No, I hear you.
Can only operate on a combat tempo for so long. And if you've ever been on a combat tempo, about 16 months is the max you can maintain it, without needing at least 6 months down so that your body can recover.
Right. Well, that's one of the things.
What I'm gathering from this conversation is that there's really no quick fix.
There is.
There really is no
No.
there's no quick fix to this. This is something that has to be solved over a few generations. And it has to start now with the young kids just being born right now, and some that have, fortunately, hopefully, been spared a lot of the conditions and certainly a lot of the propaganda. So we have to start with the young ones now, and reach out to them and get them to a better place. Because the older generation, if they don't want to change themselves, they're essentially lost.
Agreed. Well, guys, it's 9 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and start the outros here. Terra?
I'm Terra Synn. You can find me on pretty much any social media. Please go to my YouTube page and like, subscribe, share. Burnside and I are still in the, just thought process of the YouTube old time radio show about DC villains. He still has to work on my video about the American bald eagle that was saved from the Gulf of Mexico.
Need off days to finish that.
Let's see. And this past Sunday, my Cards Against Humanity online game went really well. So I'm going to try and do that again this next Sunday.
Who won the second round?
I believe it was
Bartender.
I knew he was kicking some ass in that first one. He started off slow, but he caught on fire.
I might have to talk to you about joining in on a game on that, Terra.
Oh, it's fun shit, dude.
It was a lot of fun.
I know. I enjoy Cards Against Humanity. Well, 6.
I am the Next 6 Minutes. You can find me on the Next 6 Minutes channel. You must spell out the word 6 if you want to find it, because if you don't, then you won't. I'm also on the Next Live Streams channel. That is my primary live streams channel. Unless I'm covering for one of my buddies here, then I typically jump to my primary channel, just like for a special edition, so Chaos 120-ish sort of stream. So that's how I do things. I have two things I want to bring up. First, I want to bring up that I created a new channel trailer for the Chaos 120 group channel. Now it includes Terra Synn.
Yay!
So go ahead and give that one a watch.
Okay.
It's a shorter and more to the point version of the fifth one that was kind of like the 80s Miami Vice sort of thing. That's the one I went with this time. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. Second order of business. You can actually watch this channel trailer while you go and watch my interview of Irate Bear that went very well this afternoon, despite the little technical difficulties at the very beginning. But we got it all sorted out. We went 10 minutes over just to kind of give listeners every little bang for their buck as far as listening time. So it's 40 minutes instead of 30. Let's see. What else? Oh yeah, I wanted to make mention that I will be hosting Thursday night. I don't have work that day, so that's awesome. So I will be able to host on my regular night for Chaos 120 at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I'm pretty excited about that. And this is I just wanted to also make mention this is the last weekend that Weibo's doing her Explorer thing. So this is the last weekend that I'll be covering for her. She'll be resuming her regular time slot next Saturday.
Regular scheduled Saturdays.
Right.
Cool. Well, Scooby, do you want to go next?
Sure. You guys know the deal. I'm Scooby331. You can follow me here on YouTube. I am on Minds.com, Gab.ai, My Patreon and PayPal are finally up and running, I believe. So please, if you could donate, I desperately need to get a GoPro, and I'm trying to get my hands on a phone, an Android, so I can stream while filming, so I can actually produce better content. I don't have equipment right now, which is why my content has been coming so sporadically. And I am still on Twitter, but I am still in limited state suspension because Jack Dorsey's a punk.
Hashtag free Scooby.
Again.
Hashtag poofy spaz. No.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, no
But yeah, I don't know if I have anything coming up this week. I'll keep you posted, but I'll have to check. Like I said, no equipment, so it's up in the air at this point.
Yeah, if any of you guys could, please give this guy a hand with getting equipment. Because I tell you, every other time I talk to this guy, he tells me some crazier and crazier shit that I didn't even think I would have even existed. Last time I was talking to him, he was telling me he actually found a quad-gendered trans-dimensional Broning Lord running around some crazy feminist woman with some type of elaborate beating crop of some kind or another.
Dude,
if you want to do shit like that, just do what you can to get this guy a camera or an Android phone or something. Because
well, he does at least have one. He does at least have $1 from me.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. Six is my first donation. I appreciate it. Actually, I don't have $1. I only have 77 cents. They whacked me for a third.
Well, don't spend it all on. Don't spend it all in one place.
Don't spend it all on poofy spazzes.
Oh man!
Fucking hell.
So irate, what you got coming up, man?
Yo, I'm irate prostate, and Thursday, Big Fat Brian and I will be looking at Netflix true crime series called Staircase. You'll recognize the crime, I believe, because it was all over the fucking place and court TV and shit. It was in the early aughts. And Friday, the cream stream. Saturday, drinks with friends. And Sunday, ice cream interview. I will be interviewing Atema the Hun on Sunday.
Like good interview.
Big booby robot lady.
Yeah, and that's it. Until next Monday, Irate Monday with Chaos 120.
Hey, sorry I missed Irate Monday this week, man. I was too busy partying like it was $16.99.
Hey.
There you go. Say, veteran, can I plug the Chaos 120 group in the chat there?
Sure, go ahead, man. Do you have the wrench?
Yes, I do.
Good.
There you go.
So
now,
you want to shill?
Yes, I am the Burnside Film Project when I'm not being worked to death over here and maintaining the insanity that is Ram's Chicago under his communist dictatorship of Semitic progress. You can find me on YouTube, BitChute, Twitter, Gab.ai, and I did actually get an email back from RedBubble. So for all of my Ineptus Mechanicus people that were bitching like fucking rabid robots, you may wind up getting your banners back. I know the last batch got sent out in that, but they didn't give me a yes or no. All they told me is Games Workshop was like, we want it taken down because it's close enough to what our actual thing is. So I think if I tweak a little bit and just change the name like I did with my Sisters of Battle one, the Adeptus Mechanicus, Astartes, Ineptus, so on and so forth, can have your Imperium of Mankind banners back with a little bit of sprucing to them. And you can find...
Careful.
And the Scooby said, I was the God King of the nerd folk.
Well, you have got to be careful with that stuff, Burnside, because I have seen Games Workshop come after people with international British lawyers. They are hardcore.
I tried telling him and the bartender this when I'm trying to do the D&D thing with them, and they argue with me. And I'm like, bro, I went to school for this for like the better part of a decade. I know what I'm talking about. You have to watch copyright, and plagiarism's a motherfucker, and they don't listen.
I remember the guys in '97 that got shut down because they were producing aftermarket parts.
Yeah, Yeah, they'll take your whole livelihood from you.
Yeah, they freaking sued him out of existence.
Yeah.
Those guys still own 16 million.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying, man. You got to look into it. You better thank God that all they did was say you got to take it down.
Yeah, be careful with that.
Well, that's a good thing about RedBubble is they, unless it's egregious, they pretty much take care of all the legal stuff immediately. So that's why I've been having a rapport with them back and forth as far as what I can do and what I can't do. And they've given me a couple emails in that, so I think I might have some actual wiggle room. But when I get a concrete yes or no, I'll let everyone know. But for the time being, the rest of my works I've had up are good to go. The Sisters of Battle one they haven't tampered with, so that one gives me a blueprint to work off of. Because that was the whole reason I did that one the way I did, was I was like, okay, how far can I push it before I get in trouble? And I think I figured out exactly, what I can do. So if I
take this one to heart, man. Never rely on somebody to cover your ass. Always cover your own ass, and make sure it's covered well.
Cover it with paper, man.
Because people will let you down. People will let you down. You got to do. There are some things you just got to do for yourself.
Yep.
We'll do, man. We'll do.
And of course, everybody, you should know me by now. I am the Veteran Mountain Man, and if you don't know me, then I don't know how you got on this channel, unless, of course, you somehow miraculously found me on YouTube, because they don't actually post my stuff on anybody's feeds anymore. Of course, you can also catch me on Twitter, Gab, Minds, BitChute, Patreon, MakerSupport, Coffee, and I am looking at also doing a Stream TV as well as I do some Gab TV. And as always, have yourself a great day.